Hello everyone, my name is Seth Master and I'm an econ and communication major here at Hilo, but pursuing the creative writing certificate. So I've had the pleasure and honor of being in a lot of English classes over my time here, and this is a story from one of them. It's evolved a lot over time, and I'll share with that how it's evolved later on, but yeah, this one's called Flowers. A beautiful crisp fall day in Curtistown. The leaves showed a vibrant, fiery orange and a radiant red. Each leaf held a story dropped into the ground. One by one they fell, some formed a pile, others drifted in the wind for one last ride. Leaves are funny, not caring too much about looks. Instead they gravitate towards a thing much deeper than that. Seeing past the surface and into the soul, when they find a pure soul they fall. One leaf drifted on top of Ralph's hat. Out of all the places the leaf could have gone, or people it could have seen, this leaf chose to fall on Ralph. From the outside, Ralph did not stand out in the crowd. A standard build with normal features. Nothing that would make your head turn walking by him on the street. Carries a briefcase and wears a gray suit. Observing Ralph for much of its life, this leaf noticed something rather peculiar. Every day, Ralph walked past him with flowers, and every day he came back without them. This leaf noticed that Ralph was going out of his way for something, but what? This little leaf could hardly imagine why he would do this every day, whether rain or snow or shine. Was it for a lover? Was it for someone else? Was he a carrier? The leaf had to find out before the seasons changed. Choosing to drop on Ralph's hat that morning, the leaf rode in Ralph's hat, expecting to see a beautiful woman or a newlywed couple filled with joy to receive flowers. Surprised when neither of these came true, Ralph turned into somewhere that the leaf had never saw before. Turning into a courtyard with huge black iron fences, a chill of cold fall air ran down the leaf's stem. The leaf saw stones sticking out of the ground and big boxes with words on them. The trees were stiff and the leaves were dry on the ground, and you could hear the crunch of the leaves underneath Ralph's foot. The leaf was reminded that his time is short. Ralph didn't stop until he reached the top of the hill overlooking a lake. Stopping, he took off his hat and stooped down and placed the flowers on a concrete slab reading, "Dorothy Scott, beloved wife, mother, friend. Born September 8th, 1955, died October 9th, 2008. The leaf watched Ralph placing his hands over his lips, kissing his fingers and placing them on the name. A tear running down his cheek dropped onto the leaf. The leaf could feel the pain and agony from the tear now puddled in its curves. Whispering under his breath, Ralph spoke to his love. "It's so hard, baby. I have no joy anymore. I wish I could just hear your voice once more." The leaf observed Ralph staying back, placing his focus towards the lake and watching the birds. They were eating and swimming, and then flying away. The birds were so free to come and go without worry or pain. The leaf could feel Ralph's heart breaking. After a while of watching, Ralph gazed down at his watch and sighed. Leaning back down, Ralph places his hand on her name and with glossy eyes said, "I have to go to work again. I'll be back again tomorrow, Dot. I hope you enjoy the flowers. I know daisies were one of your favorites." The leaf saw Ralph reaching for his hat to leave, but the leaf wanted to stay. He wanted to keep Ralph's love company until he returned. Just as Ralph picked up his hat, the leaf dropped in front of his face. Startled by the leaf, he looked down to where it landed, and Ralph smiled from cheek to cheek when he saw the leaf. The leaf was landed right next to Dorothy's name, and it glowed a warm red, and it was shaped like a heart. Thank you. So we wanted to take some questions now, just some different ideas of how this developed, from what it developed from, just to spark ideas maybe in whoever's listening. So question one that I received was, where did my inspiration come from? So this was 3 years ago. My grandmother was just admitted into a retirement home, and my grandpa has been taking care of her for all the time before that. So the names were of my grandparents, and just kind of the love story even past death. was inspired from them, just watching their interaction and seeing that love really transcends any physical ailment as well. So that's where the inspiration comes from. I made it artsy with having a Leafs perspective and all the imagery, but that's where the story originally came from. And question 2 was describe my writing process for this piece and how has it evolved. So I originally had to write this piece for a flash fiction for Susan's class, the intro to fiction. So I think it had to be under 750 words. And just because that's the nature of the story, I wanted to keep it true to that. So I kept it short. I added some details here and there, edited it down. But it is considered a flash fiction, so I tried to write a deep, meaningful story in less than 750 words, and being a very wordy person, I'm proud of this one because it forced me out of my comfort zone. And I've edited this is probably the 5th time I've edited it. So it is not this good from the start. It's still not perfect, but that's the writing process, is write, rewrite, throw out, rewrite. So yeah, it's kind of been my process for this. And question 3, my last one, is how would this change if the narrator was someone else? I don't think the story would change. I think it would still be about Ralph and seeing him, but you wouldn't have the Leafs perspective. If Ralph was the narrator, or if it was from his perspective, I'd focus on different things. Like, obviously he might notice the trees, but he would never notice any life that's above any ordinary thing. They'd just be inanimate objects, not capable of feeling or emotion. So he might glance up at the tree, oh, it's a beautiful fall color trees, and then he'd just move on and probably focus more on his job or something like that. So yeah, it would change. I think the main story points would still be there, traveling to the cemetery and the flowers and expressing heartbreak, but yeah, I think it's more feel good right now. So I think it would be more tragic if Ralph would be the narrator, but I could be wrong. Like, I might change it around sometime. But yeah, that's my story. I thank you guys for listening and just taking the time, and yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to share my work with you guys. So